So let's take a look at the data. So we can look at some folks that have very high level access to information, like Paul Hellyer.
There have been face-to-face meetings between United States officials and visitors from other star systems, period.
Lou Elizondo has said the same thing.
This is going to impact every single one of us.
David Grush has said the same thing. David Grush cleared for presidentially level material.
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came to some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
Do you believe that a higher form of non-human intelligence has visited this planet?
Right. So, non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing. And there are unelected people in the government that are aware of that.
And so, Karl, that is quite a bold statement. I'm wondering, and I'm curious, how confident are you that that is true?
There's zero doubt.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Alien Addict. Hi, as everyone, Lee Stevens. In a minute, I'll be joined by Dave and Patrick from Vetted. Before we get on with the show, I just want you to go and do the whole thing of liking, the sharing, the subscribing. Remember, we have a podcast if you don't listen to these episodes all the time. If you try and speak to me in the chat, I'm not going to be able to do it because my cat threw up on my keyboard, so I don't have a keyboard. Without further ado, David, Patrick, any animals thrown up on your technology?
I have an extra one here. I have an extra one. I wish I could just give it to you right here. Just
if you slam it into your screen as hard as possible.
Is there a portal? Is there a portal around me that I could use?
Do you have any dove's blood?
I don't know. Yeah. Let me check the other blood packets. Just kidding. Yeah. Welcome.
Oh,
hello.
Geez. Yeah. No, thanks for coming on again, Patrick. It's good to see you.
Oh, absolutely. And thank you to everyone watching. Pleasure to be here with you guys. Had a blast last time. Excited. Ready.
What's been going on with you in the time you've been away?
I lost a tooth right here.
Got
it knocked out at the pool. So got to get that fixed. That's another thing on the list of stuff to do when you're an adult.
What was the pool incident? Because I had a friend.
Oh, I just diving in, doing stupid stuff. Need myself. Trying to do trying to act like I'm a teenager or something.
Friend of mine died.
Just having fun. Hey, it was having fun. At least it was having fun. You know what I mean? Having fun. Pool time. It's summertime. Sun's out. Birds are out. UFOs are out. Whistleblowers are out. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that was the first thing I was going to bring up today. The SALT conference, and was it Karl Nell? Is it the guy's name? Is it?
Colonel.
Yeah.
Colonel Karl Nell.
Yeah. No doubt, zero doubt that we are being engaged by non-human life.
No doubt.
I mean, yeah. Well, I mean, when I watched the conference, I actually watched your video when you did like the watch along with it.
Yeah.
And it's pretty wild stuff. Again, as soon as I saw it, I thought, right, this is going to be one of these things. It's going to cause this big, massive stink. And there's either going to be people like us, which go, that's quite interesting. And there's going to be other people that, unless he's bringing like the severed head of a predator on stage with him, it's not enough evidence.
And even then,
what a reveal though that would be. You know, just he had a cooler by him the whole time, and he just whipped that thing open and just pulled that out. I don't know. That's a mic drop. Yeah, but you're right. Comments were fascinating. To be honest with you, zero doubt. I don't know how I feel about the zero doubt answer. I don't know about
I like
y'all.
confidence. I like confidence. It's attractive.
Yeah. All right. It's attractive. That's for sure. It just it's like, what do you mean? You mean 100%? Like not 99? No room for error is interesting to me.
I think it was a really good way to get everyone to stop talking about Terrence Howard in our crazy world. You know what I mean? Like
that's interesting.
That was a trending topic, and now it is not.
That's interesting. I mean, I don't think he working to get, I think people are still talking about Terrence Howard.
Some.
I still
but I think we should talk a lot more about it instead.
It's like people are talking. It's like, well, which people? Like on Twitter, you mean?
Oh no, I'm just talking about the crazy ones who watch our show.
Yeah.
We love you. Hey, I'm here. What does that say about me? Right?
Oh,
I'm holding the torch.
I'm holding the torch. I'm leading this thing.
Yeah, we're all doomed. Let me tell you.
Oh God. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, I mean the Terrence Howard stuff was equally as crazy to think about. But Karl Nell stuff was. It was interesting. I mean, for sure. I don't know. I kind of looked into or rewatched the part where where they ask him, well, what makes you think this? What evidence, right, are you looking at? It makes you think you have zero doubt, right? Because that's a very confident answer to give.
Yeah.
And he starts to name people. Well, so and so said this, and just like you showed, right? And so said that. But he's talking about Paul Hellyer, I believe his name is, from Canada, and that dude from Israel talking about a galactic federation, and America has had this agreement with extraterrestrials, and even Donald Trump knew about it, and knows about it. There is no way that dude is keeping that quiet if he knows about that. I'm sorry, but that just seemed like there was just no way. I mean, they would have had to offer him, I don't know, something. Even then, but either way, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know. I find that stuff interesting. I don't know. It moves it along. It was cool. It was fascinating, right? It was a good conversation.
I think who he is fascinating.
Yeah.
When they go through his resume, like who he is, like here's my credentials.
Yeah.
Wow.
All of those guys he mentioned.
I have
David Grush, Lou Elizondo, right? Whatever his name is, from Israel, and Paul Hellyer, right? All of everybody's fascinating. Fascinating.
The thing that just makes my hackles go up is every one of those guys are heavily tied to the intelligence communities. And it's just, that tree's rotten, man. I don't care what fruit comes off it. They love to play the word games. They love to try and plant things in conscious, like the culture, right? They take opportunities like this to throw those seeds out. So they get people like us questioning and digging and helping plant it deeper into all our viewers. That's what we're here for. Like, I mean, you got to be honest. Part of the greatest joy I have is knowing that, as my psyche gets damaged, so does everyone else's. I can't even enjoy a vacation. I went on vacation, and being a natural conspiracy theorist and so deep into this, I'm like walking around Savannah, Georgia with my wife, and it's like, oh, this is good. What's that on that wall? What's that flag? What direction is this building facing? What the hell?
Oh
Just
man,
ruins
that's
everything.
funny. Yeah, it ruins everything. No, you can't do that. Right? You can't do that. Yeah, you gotta just like go for it. Live life. Don't worry
Oh,
about it. If it's
100%.
gonna happen, it's gonna happen. Right? If they have the power, you won't see it coming.
Oh no, I'm not
No.
talking about that. Just
Yeah.
like, what is it? You read the signs and symbols.
You read
like,
into other things.
Yeah.
That's go.
Yeah.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, why do you?
Well,
have
that could
this
be
in
fun though
Latin?
too.
Why is
That-
this
yeah.
flag here? Yeah. Like, why do you have the Eastern building?
That's
You know?
funny.
Yeah.
Why? Yeah. Yeah.
Do you
I don't know.
do you guys remember when the Paul Hellyer thing first came out? When he first did that, because he was the Canadian,
2003 or
Canadian
2005?
ex-Minister of Defense, I think he was,
Yeah.
wasn't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because realistically, the interesting thing about him being brought into this was he did that independently of any of this shit. Any of this current disclosure movement. And that was like completely out of the blue. I think
it was around the Dr. Stephen Greer stuff coming out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, would that have been the first National Press Club thing he did?
Exactly.
Yeah.
In the same ballpark, if you want to call that a ballpark, right? Within a few years, I think, of each other, or right? I don't know,
Yeah.
but definitely not what you're talking like for sure.
Yeah.
Before,
So I find it interesting that this guy brings him up, because what it means is, because like I saw like a lot of people that were on the like X that immediately jumped on this thing, saying how he's pushing out like the UFO cult, as I keep seeing being posted now. But it shows he's at least done his homework, because Paul Hellyer has nothing to do with like the UFO cult. He's nothing to do with like the Luis Elizondo thing. So that means that this guy, before he got on stage to speak at the Assault thing, has looked at this subject in a much broader window than just the last 7 years.
Sure. You're saying by name dropping him, it makes you think, okay, he's into this a little bit further than I thought.
Or he's been briefed slightly differently about it. He's been briefed further back than just this current like Lou Elizondo era disclosure.
It's a really good play to re-inject credentials and credibility into Lou Elizondo's story, especially with his alleged book coming on and off, him starting to talk more and engage more, and the community. I hate using that word, by the way. I hate using the word community, but I know I have to, because we don't have anything else, and I can't call people what I really want to. But it's an interesting way to do that. I never, again, I'm a tried and true conspiracy theorist, right? Question everything. He's using his credentials and who he is to go out there and validate all of those people. And I think he's pulling from some of the older ones to help validate the new ones, right? It's a really good source to go out there. Now, I think the thing to watch for, who's the next one of these people who are going to start talking.
That's interesting.
Because they're trading on him now, right? They're trading on his security clearances, his experience, the things he's been plugged into.
Paul Hellyer is deceased.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
The Israeli guy
not
is not talking to anybody, right? Even Avi Loeb, I think, said he can't even get a hold of him. But I don't know, right? Yeah. And then who else did he mention? David Grush.
Mm-hmm.
He's been quiet.
Lou
Elizondo, his book's coming out in August.
Well, he actually took David Grush's place, didn't he? It was supposed to be David Grush talking at the SALT conference, and it was Nell that took the place.
Yeah. That's an interesting thing too, right? Like, schedule conflict.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's.
I just don't.
Well, what's gone on? Because it's not another public appearance. Because if it was a public appearance, we'd know about it. So what's the schedule conflict?
I don't think. I mean, sounds like just PR talk, but I guess it could be that, but maybe just what he was going to say wasn't cleared to be said. right? Because I think Karl Nell's was more a presentation than an interview. The more I watch it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
I get that.
and that's fine. That's fine. But maybe
But
that's why
it
David
does
Grush
frame
couldn't
it,
go. I
though.
don't know.
It does frame it differently, though. The fact, like you say, that it was more of a presentation than an interview, because that means like him having the opportunity to say there is zero doubt in my mind of this going on. That means that it was framed. He went in there with the mission of saying those things and getting that message across.
Correct.
And that's the question you have to ask is like, why? Like, why is that happening now? In the same way as I can't remember the guy's name now. You did a video about it. The guy that's represented Lou Elizondo,
Danny Sheehan.
yes, and talking about the person that's like you were saying, so unalive themselves, which might have been going to come out with some sort of information on this, and something's happened to them. It's interesting to me that that's all happened now.
Absolutely.
If it's
weird,
if it's spinning things up again, just so, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying that they would use somebody's death as a marketing tool, but they could definitely, if they're not going to give any details of who it is, they could certainly make a death up.
It's easy too.
Yes.
So,
but hey, man, the government's waste not, want not, right? Like, hey, we need a body. Let's make a body happen. I'm sure they got a list of them.
I would like more details on that to be able to, give a better answer to what you're asking, right? Like, could they have hoaxed this or fake this death? Is it a real person? Is it because right now we just don't know anything. Again, that's what was odd about the whole thing. Like, wait, we wouldn't even be asking these questions if Danny hadn't even brought it up.
Nope.
And he's like, well, Lou jumped the gun here. And
yeah.
And then Danny's like, let me tell you this other bombshell story. I mean, I don't know. It's sad if that is true, of course. And what does it imply? I don't know. Like you said, it's all connect, right? Like, why now?
Why?
See, this is the thing. Even if it's, I don't believe the framing of this as in like, oh, they're grifters. He's just out there to do his book. David Grush is a liar that's just like he's managed to lie his way into to briefing Congress. That was broadcast.
A lot of liars.
Yeah, it is. And it's a lot, not only a lot of liars, it's a lot of successful liars in a row. So
really, that is weird to think about, right? There's a lot of liars. Is that like openly, like knowingly lying?
Professionally trained liars by their government.
But to the own American people so publicly, like this would be the biggest story ever if even that was uncovered.
Yeah,
right. Like, holy
this is it. Like, it's interesting, even if it's not real, and I think that's what a lot of people are missing. So, because it's one of two things. It's either there is a section of people within the U.S. government that believe, rightly or wrongly, we are being interacted with by non-human intelligence, and they are trying to break the story that this is happening. So there's two things there. They either believe it or they're being told to do it. That's the only two options. I don't believe that a bunch of people have got together and gone, tell you what, Dave, if we concoct a good enough story, we can get you in front of Congress. Yeah, it's like I can understand. Like,
I bet we could.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to go along with it. I mean, it's a lot to play. You're right. I don't know. That is interesting, though.
The problem I have with these people, again, is it comes down to the intelligence community. They're heavily into it. They're professionally trained liars and manipulators. Like, it's what they are. It's what they do. Lou Elizondo is counter intel. Yeah. But when you look at what he did, he's more human intel. He's the guy that works the room and asks the hard question and probably gives them very long, cold drinks of water that they didn't want.
Yeah.
A towel may or may not be involved. Yeah, these are the guys that we're putting out. Like, these are the guys? Where's you know who I want in the intelligence community? I want your analyst. I want your number cruncher data guy who sees all the files. I want that guy to come forward. I want, the Excel warrior back there who's cataloging all this stuff. I don't want your front man who is somewhere on the psychopathic scale and was picked and recruited early and honed for the job that he currently has. I don't want someone in executive military leadership because of all the sins and things that they hide and sleep with and live with from a day-to-day basis. It's not who I want. But, I want a lot of things. I want $150 million. It doesn't mean it's going to happen. We're just kind of stuck with it, but I am extremely suspicious of these people and where they come from. Their backgrounds are impressive, but if you take a second to think about it like that, what went down, the colonel had every question ahead of time. That was not an interview. He was being set up to relay a specific message. Why and by who? Right?
Yeah.
Big questions.
I don't know, man.
Yeah. Fun times.
I don't know.
Though, right? Fun times.
Well, I think even if he prepared this, doesn't mean anything nefarious. He could be just anybody with a presentation is going to prepare, like a TED Talk.
This is true.
Doesn't make any. Now, I'm not saying it is, but I agree with what you're saying. He could have been, could be all part of this plan to get it, out. I don't know. I just find, maybe there's something in the middle, some sort of truth in the middle here.
I hope so.
I just don't get the whole idea of a psyop to create aliens. What benefit does the government actually get from that?
I don't think it's a lie. That's the thing is the best lie is a lie with truth in it.
So you think we have some craft, but they also create all this madness around it. So you just don't know. It's like the three card Monty, I guess. Maybe. Yeah. Sort of, right. Like the more we can hide it amongst the truth.
Yeah. And personally,
or the lies. Sorry.
I believe so. Like, that's just me, right? Island of one here. One crazy conspiracy theorist out there wandering the world who may or may not be wearing pants. And in my little world, as I wander down the street with bunny ears and no pants, or maybe I do, I don't know. However you picture me, right? I'm not trying to get into your personal visual bubble. But
I'm rotating. I got slides. I got different.
Appreciate it. I like to think of it as a PowerPoint flashing through there.
Yeah.
But I think that the NHI thing is key. I think the fact that they have put in so much time to change language, that's important. I don't know why. I think it's important. I think that they are I don't know that necessarily them being in contact, maybe being aware. Because being aware, I could see them spinning that as in contact, lost in. There's something there, right? It's taking a fact and twisting it so it's easy to say. It has a ring of like, this is a colonel saying this. This is a colonel throwing these things out with an unbelievable resume behind him that our country has trusted and given security clearances and access to billions of dollars and men and equipment and, carte blanche to do as he pleases to a very large degree, right? We trust as a nation, we trust this man.
Yeah.
And he's saying these things, but he's also heavily involved with the intelligence community. The people he's thrown out, a couple of which are semi-questionable, but he also threw up a couple guys that weren't prompted to do that. Like, as we were speaking about earlier, personally, I think, yes, there is something. Do I personally think it's little green men from another planet? No. Do I think it's something? Yes.
Well, right. Let's try and tie something else with it then. If you think about what's happened in the last 2 years, I'll try and say this in as YouTube friendly a way as I possibly can. So since COVID, we had there was a deluge of conspiracy theorists, a conspiracy theory that may or may not have had like pizza restaurants involved, with gates that were also involved with those said restaurants. Then we've been through this whole pandemic thing, which doesn't appear to be able to be keeping the lid on the truth of what happened in that situation. Now you've also got the UFO and alien thing, which has been a conspiracy theory since before any of us were born, which also seems to be in a position where we can't keep the lid on anything. Now, I've never been like woo-woo about this sort of stuff, and like ages and what the Great Awakenings and stuff like that. But I was watching a guy talk the other day about how moving into the age of Aquarius, like part of that is all truths will be unhidden before we move into this new age. And I can't help think that maybe there's been things that go on for an awful long time, and in recent history, and this has been moves, especially the COVID situation, moves which were put in place where people were trying desperately to remain in control of the situation. And whatever's going on, and whatever shift this is with people, maybe it's nothing to do with anything woo at all. It's just to do with the fact that the way we deal with information now, and the fact that there is no, like, people talk about the 24-hour news cycle. It's not a 24-hour news cycle now. It's a second-to-second news cycle, because stories break instantly and go viral in seconds. Maybe that's one of the reasons why these things can't be contained. Or maybe there is something to this whole thing of like, we as a species are changing and moving somewhere else, and this is part and parcel of the growing pains of where it's going. If you either of you can give me an answer, that'd be great.
42.
Wow. I don't know. It's a lot to think about, right? This topic it's mind bending. Right? All of us, like, I don't know. I don't know. You guys are giving me a lot to think about, to be honest with you.
I spent my entire time, and so we did a show just before I went to Savannah, and which was a great time. Had a fabulous time, by the way. I love Savannah. Every time I visit there, I think I should move here. But I don't, because I don't want to, stabbed by a homeless person wandering a courtyard. But and it's important to me. I mean, it's not important to everyone, but it's important to me. Like, not getting stabbed by homeless people is, I mean, it's up there on my priority list, right? Like, I have certain things. That's one of them.
That's one of them.
I'm prissy that way, first world problems. I don't even know where I was going with that riff, but I was thinking about something I had said, or not something I said, something we had talked about, right? Like, they keep saying NHI, you got it. Again, I have no basis. I have no facts. This is just for me watching things and being a crazy person and his third floor addict talking to other people online about nonsensical, crazy things like that's, and trying to have fun while doing it. But at the same time, so many of these things add up. There are so many questions, like, whether it's the Epstein Island thing, whether it's the trust the science, whatever it is, right? We know these large grand conspiracies are a thing. People do cover them up. World leaders are involved. And it seems to keep generating that it is always worse than you think, and it's always crazier than you can believe. Always. Because Alex Jones was saying years ago about an island in the ocean where these horrible things were happening. People were like, dude, he is off his meds. And then lo and behold, the court seal the records after they convict someone of human trafficking. But that's just an excellent example of the conspiracy world. For NHIs, for me, I don't know what your personal religious take is, what your belief is, what you see things are. has, you got these watchers, right, that came down, that were cast out because they were doing things they shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
We have Tucker Carlson talking about the religious connotation to non-human intelligence and whatever these things are, and that it is disturbing. You have other veins of the government seem to be trying to fight that narrative off with a technology, galactic brotherhood. We're all in this together. But if you talk to anyone who's ever been abducted, and I think these things happen, it is not an altogether brotherhood. It's not enlightenment and a great time. It sounds horrible. Calling out for religious deities seem to affect these things in some way. And just throwing this out there, it's kind of out of left field, but it is still definitely in my mind. Lazar had said that they found these things in an archaeological dig. Grush had said that they had found it in a mountain, right? We have other people that are sort of kind of corroborating that on the outside. What if, just throwing it out there, the 200 things that fell got their wings cut? What it means, whatever ship that they use to go to wherever it is they come from, whether it's a higher dimension or a lower dimension or whatever it is, got turned off. It's like, you messed up. You got to stay in your mess now. You don't get to come back. You violated the rules and you know it. So they turned off their wings, which are whatever these craft are. And then they just paired up and started ruling the world and waging this chaos. And they're trying to do anything they can to get back. That's why we have these nefarious sciences that are spilling off. We have secret particle programs, secret science. And it seems to be that we always have had, which I get that there's a natural inclination towards that, but it's the organization and the secrecy behind it is more than I give. I don't know. Maybe that's just me selling people short, but it's more than I just give to normal people. But I am a crazy person and they're addict. So,
That's interesting. That's a cool story. Even if it's not
right?
true.
Good
book.
book.
Are you kidding me? Our imagination is quite fascinating in a lot of ways, right? With a lot of the speculation of what
100%.
this phenomena is, backstory, this, that, the other, spiritual, extraterrestrial, all the different theories, right? So that's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's neat.
I like it. I like it. I don't know. I haven't seen the evidence for it.
Yeah, I don't think there is any.
But yeah,
doesn't mean it's not
cool.
a good story.
Sounds cool. Totally does sound cool.
See, I wonder whether the topic is going somewhere different now. And that, again, if it's like this isn't like with a new agey thing, but the more understanding we get about these things, the more that it like comes to light. I think you're naturally going to twist and turn with what you think this phenomena is, because I think what we can do is what we can say is there's some definites, right? There is definitely some sort of we'll say paranormal because it's something that is beyond what we would consider like baseline normality. There's something in the sky because we see these things, people see these things, we've photographed these things, we've videoed them. They're there. There is, I believe, some sort of physical interaction with people, or at least some sort of like what we would look at as physical interaction, because I don't believe the amount of people that claim to have had like abductions or claim to have seen things. There's too many of them for them all just to be making this shit up. Mm-hmm. I wonder if in 10 years, especially with like the likes of Tucker, because that kind of tends to be where I am now. I wonder if we're just entering a new phase of trying to work out what this is. But oddly enough, the phase of that we're going to move into is going to be more in line with what I think we would have thought it was 100 years ago, 200 years ago, rather than this technological based thing. Because that's the main problem I have with this, is there is evidence of something, but as far as I can see, zero evidence of physical vehicles. And that's my big problem with this, is because like we talk about like crash retrieval and stuff like that. Yeah. And I know someone turned around to me and said, yeah, but America's a big place and it's a big landmass. And I think, okay, but there's also smaller places like where populations more densely packed and stuff like that, where how come we haven't had any of these things happen in like a city? If these things have technical problems to the point where they crash, how come one hasn't crashed in a town or something?
Just randomly.
Yeah.
Yeah. By now, statistically speaking, you're like, it would have happened.
There would have been something somewhere in the world. Because actually, oddly, this show, before we changed tack and changed title, was going to be called Future of Ufology's Magic, and along these lines, maybe the way of working out this is we have to take a couple of steps back and go, right, well, what we've done is, when injecting technology into this phenomena, we've humanized it. And if it's non-human, why would we humanize the phenomena?
It's good.
Thank you.
Because we don't have a choice.
Yeah, maybe. We
have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going to the pool. You forgot your swimming trunks. You're like, screw it, I'll just go in my boxers.
Only if you're a coward.
That's right.
It's like, or nothing, I guess.
Got to use the rudder, man. Got to use the rudder.
But you know what I mean? It's like, well, we have to do we have to filter it through something and think about it and speculate. So of course we're going to humanize it. From there, maybe something will happen, right? It's like it begins the dialogue, because otherwise, how do we look at it? Even if we try really hard, even saying we shouldn't humanize it is a humanizing thing to say.
Yeah.
Oddly enough, that's the conundrum. To me, that's the circular logic to that. Well, why are we giving this human quality or thinking about it in a human way? Well, what else am I going to think about? Like a dolphin? I don't have a choice. I can only think about it like a human being, and the specific type of human being I am. So I don't know. It's like we got to start somewhere until they like take us to wherever they're from or time.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Would
you take us anywhere?
I mean, no.
No.
Now I
remember working at bars in Spain and seeing Americans come in. They were just like so trashy and ordering shots. I was like, guys, you're making us look bad. Like we can't even go on vacation, right? Like, have you ever been? You know what I mean? Like, go to a tourist spot. Imagine us on another planet. Like, I can't even imagine what
you guys hold yourself better than Brits. Americans definitely hold themselves better than Brits on holiday. There's no one worse. There's no one worse than British men in their 20s on holiday, because everyone gets drunk, but no other culture walks down. They're going, "I fingered your mum." It's where we're not good.
Wait, that's hilarious.
And everything's a football chant. Everything's a football chant.
Well, that's true. That is true. That is true. Yes, I mean, I definitely worked in Spain for a while, and definitely a lot of Brits more than anything. At least English speaking, they're Brits more than Americans.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were pretty friendly, to be honest with you. It was always Americans really giving me a bad. Maybe it was.
You noticed.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. Who knows? I don't know. But really just the idea of, us traveling, I just don't see us, like, how are we communicating? Like, how are we sitting down in a room and communicating, and then that never gets out somehow? That leaks. I mean,
nothing I've seen anyone talk about like leads towards that, right? So even the guys Greer's put forward, their whole thing is, what is it? They're taking people on ships and plugging them up to telepathically talk to these things, and they're picking from third world countries. They're like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
This is getting crazy.
This is too much, man.
Yeah, but
underground. Look, that guy from Israel that Karl Nell brought up, he said that we have underground bases in Mars that we have meetings with the ET there, right? And American astronauts, specifically American astronauts. Again, Donald Trump knows about this.
I don't think he could not say something about it.
and Karl Nell is bringing him up like he said this. He said what? Like he basically brought up a lot of people who all have said much different things. So when he's like, well, so and so said this, and so not everyone said without zero doubt, blah blah blah, or did they? But because they also said a lot of other things. So are we supposed to? Again, I could say zero doubt. Does that mean something? Is it the credibility that we're counting on? Is that what is that the crutch underneath all of this?
Absolutely.
Is who they are, where they come from, with zero evidence? We've replaced that with evidence. Or is that the evidence to us now?
We as humans, I think, are naturally inclined to follow an authority figure, isn't it? It's the if you stick us all, if you take a group of 30 people, throw them into a forest together, they're going to form a little structure, aren't they? There will be a hierarchy, and like an alpha will stick himself up. It's so I get why we do it. And see, this is the uncomfortable thing we're in now, because I think anybody that's paying attention doesn't trust government and doesn't trust large companies and large large corporate structures, let's say.
For sure. 100%.
Unfortunately, they're what's going to know what this stuff is, because they're going to be the only people with the resources and the
100%.
time to look into these things.
Yes.
I
agree.
So what do you do? What do you do when the only gatekeeper that can let you into the kingdom can't be trusted? I don't know where we go from there.
Well, think about it this way. Like, this is another reason why I have a hard time believing that the entire, if it is all a psyop, that it's all coming from at least the American government, right? To cover up advanced tech and this, let's say, because all it does is put complete distrust in our own government. Why would we want to sow that much distrust in our own government? That sounds crazy. But then I think, well, politically, we do that. The left and the right. We are constantly, every 4 years in this country, and really the entire time, not sure it stops anymore, where one side is constantly telling the other side, you're ruining this country sucks, you need to get me in office, I will fix it, right? Like putting down our own country, like half of America. So we constantly are sort of, having, I don't know, like pouring fuel on the fire of distrust in our own government. And it is odd because if that's the case, right? If that's part of, it's just all made up and they're just doing it to, right? They're putting out all these people, sprinkling them out from the intelligence agency just to cover up advanced tech, create, like, really? Like, because we got a new plane coming out every 20 years or whatever the fuck, like, what the fuck, a new missile? Like, who gives a fuck? Like, those days are gone. Like, I don't know. That just seems like an odd, that's why I think there's just something in the middle. Something so peculiar and odd in the middle, and we just don't know the whole story, but there is some psyop. There are some people that are lying just on their own without any orders or, being told. They're just like, I'm jumping on this train here. I want to, this sounds exciting. Or, right, combination of that. And we did find something. What is that thing? Did it get then telephoned out and it changed and the story changed? But we did find something. Now, what that was, maybe there was multiple things. Maybe there was some odd interactions that then got exaggerated over time or not, like, but there is some sort of basis. Or maybe we do have some fucking real UFO that performs real fucking magic. We don't know what to do about it. And it's causing all kinds of problems. And the way to cover it up is, we'll do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We'll psyop, we'll people lying. You just count on the human psyche to take its course. And we'll screw it up anyway. We don't need rules or objections or, like, eventually people screw up, right? Like, So I don't know, man. It's just all so confusing, to be honest with you. The deeper you get, the more confusing it is.
The weirder.
The weirder it
it
gets.
gets. Yeah.
100%. The weirder it gets, because you start to hear all the stories.
Mhm.
So you're just like, can they all be true? Like, but wait, is it really possible that millions and millions and millions of people are just lying about? I mean, you're just talking your neighbor Judy to the admiral in the Navy is lying. Everyone's like, really? This seems weird.
And even then, like, because I'm convinced of the whole scenario that the whatever we depict as like Greys, that guy, I'm convinced they're real things.
I believe his first name is Lamb.
Yeah. but this is the thing. There's so many depictions of things that look like that, be it on cave painting walls, on like carved into rocks, or painted on vases. And there's something I don't know about you two. I find something deeply unsettling about that image. Like there's something
100%.
There's something in my DNA which makes like it activates that fight or flight thing. And it's, I love a horror film. I can look at monsters all day long, and that one is the one that creeps me out the most
because it looks lifeless in life, right? Like lifeless, but it's alive. Like that's weird, but it does have this lifeless, like neutral, static scariness to it, like simple,
almost anti-human in that respect.
Yeah,
it looks like a shadow of us in a weird way brought to life. Like if you were to light a human being and sort of like, but low light, right? Bring that's kind of the image you're going to get a little bit. So it's like a shadow, like this weird shadow of us. Like there's something human about it, but not at all at the same time, and that is terrifying.
That's why you got to adopt the policy of preemptive probing. Those things show up in your house. You don't ask questions. You get to probing. Let him take that message back to his friends. Yeah,
you got a tape already made. Yeah. Got it, guys.
Dude,
I film myself being probed. Don't worry about it.
No,
I got it.
You probe the.
What do you need?
You don't.
What
wait
do you need?
For them. You don't
In fact, I got a whole box set here. What do you need? I did different setups.
I got a highlight reel.
Whatever you need. Don't worry.
This
about
one's
it.
in a school uniform. This is my favorite.
Yeah, this is my favorite. I got a Google Drive too. If you guys need to download it through the cloud, don't worry about it.
Here's the whole movie, but here's the jump drive with the bits you actually want to watch.
Yeah. In fact, I'm putting on a live show in a week. You guys should come out and make a big deal. I'll save you guys seats.
$49.95 though. You gotta buy in.
Let's do disclosure the real way. Come on.
Yeah,
that's funny.
It's definitely there, but there's a consistency in that image, and the image is unsettling. I mean, you got Aleister Crowley and his sex magic rituals summoned the lamb, and when he drew him out, that's what he looked like. You're like, wait a minute, what?
I do think. Oh yeah, that's unsettling, dude.
Yep.
Although it's interesting with Lamb how everything about him is a grey, apart from how small the eyes are.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't have his sunglasses on.
Yeah.
I do definitely think. Do you remember the green alien?
Well, it looks like we'll be going to cloaks, which is cool. He's bringing the cloaks back. So that would be. At least we know when we get took over, we'll have cloaks, and that's kind of exciting.
That's something to vote for. I mean, that's something to hopefully look forward to, right? It's silver lining.
Absolutely.
Folks are making a comeback.
Yeah, cloaks, baby.
The other thing I wanted to bring up, which is it's kind of unrelated to this, but we've got Ashton coming on for the first time in a while tomorrow.
Oh, nice! Oh yeah, say hi to him for me.
Yeah, did you happen to see the thing we put out when we found it? Because obviously the Skinny Bob thing, don't you? Like yeah. Did you happen to see what we did with Chupacabra, where I found there was a video of a UFO on RegicideAnon's YouTube channel, which is the YouTube channel that's gone now. And there's like a freaky similarity between the RegicideAnon UFO and the UFO from the Skinny Bob footage. Did you happen to see that?
Wait a second. You're saying that the original poster of the MH370 videos, he had some other video that you saw.
Yeah. So his
same guy. That's interesting. And that UFO matches something from the Skinny Bob video.
Let me show it to you, because I thought if you hadn't seen it, you'd find this interesting.
This is totally interesting.
It's a very good catch by Lee.
So on the left, Ivan 0135 is the Skinny Bob channel.
Okay.
On the right, that video was on RegicideAnon, the MH370 video YouTube channel.
Is RegicideAnon, did it have like a title or description saying, like, is he thinking that's real, or is he saying, hey, this is something?
Well, RegicideAnon's YouTube channel just had loads of different YouTube UFO videos on it.
Okay, so it just boom, hashtag UFOs essentially.
Yeah,
got it.
And when I was looking at those, I thought, like, you could, obviously they look different, obviously, but I think you could. It doesn't take an awful stretch to go, I think they're two videos made in the same style, possibly by the same person.
Dude, that's crazy. That's interesting, for sure. Yeah, that's fascinating. What a great thread to pull. Curious to hear Ashton's response.
Yeah, obviously I'm more. I can't work out where I stand with that now. I can't work out whether it backs up because those videos are connected to the MX370 stuff. Whether that backs up.
I don't think it's connected at all. It's just more like the guy's putting out videos. Has Ashton ever said, "Oh, RegicideAnon is"?
No, but that's where they turned up first.
For sure. But yeah. I think you could still. I don't think it hurts or doesn't hurt the MH370. I think it would be interesting to. I guess what's interesting more is it helps more the Skinny Bob video than the MH370 video.
That's
if that
what
makes sense.
Say. Yeah, and it's I find it interesting that it at least gives a tenuous link between the two YouTube channels.
Well, I think more than anything, what it could say is, did the guy that made the Skinny Bob videos was making other videos, and here's proof.
Yeah,
and RegicideAnon was an account that put up a lot of UFO stuff.
Mm-hmm. Well,
just like a lot of channels, and the people that used to follow RegicideAnon, those people stopped posting.
Mm-hmm. Well, that UFO video because the RegicideAnon, the only videos he put up was Skinny Bob videos. That was the only thing that channel ever put up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that UFO video on the left is part of the Skinny Bob video.
Or that RegicideAnon video is so it's so dynamic, right? Like how do you even film that?
Yeah,
it looks oddly filmed too.
Well, that's the weird thing about it. I was saying about the RegicideAnon video that it almost, and it can't be because it wasn't a thing at the time, it almost looks AI generated.
Yep.
It doesn't look like old film for sure. Like it looks like, you know what I mean? Even the Ivan, that doesn't look like old footage to me.
No, the Ivan one is what we can say about the Ivan one is the at least the film grain is fake, because the film grain was found and debunked as part of a pack, a pack of film grain.
I've used them before. Yeah, absolutely.
So, but somebody found the exact same film grain that was used.
Great.
So that at least
because they repeat. That's how that shit works.
Yeah.
They repeat. You don't know that as you're watching it. You know what I mean? You have zero clue. But real film, like, it doesn't repeat ever.
Yeah,
it's like snowflake. It's like snowflake after snowflake, dude. Every bit of film is unique. It's every single square of frame of a film is absolutely unique from the next. Every time, like there's no way to replicate real film grain, like duplicate film grain, unless you did come up with something that generated fresh every time, something fresh every time.
Generated.
But making sure it never repeated itself ever. It could never. I guess maybe there could be a possibility of certain frames looking similar in real film as well. But anyway, like fingerprints, right? That's all it is. That's super interesting. I'm curious where that's gonna go. I mean, so like, what do y'all think of the Skinny Bob videos?
I'm more interested in why they're there than what they are, because I think they are a practical effect with some CGI put over it. Like I think someone's had a doll or something like that, and then over the top with the blinking and stuff like that. That's been then put in afterwards with After Effects. I find it interesting that we went back actually when we found those the fact that those videos look similar, to go back and find the old Skinny Bob footage rather than looking for it was a complete accident that we even did it, but rather than looking for the RegicideAnon's YouTube channel, for some reason we went into our own video, which we did on Skinny Bob, and followed that link to find the videos, and we found that link had been taken down. So at some point, RegicideAnon, the videos are still up if you go to RegicideAnon now, but at some point he's either gone in and altered those videos so the URL is different on them, or he's quietly taken it down and reposted it back up. I don't know why this would be a thing. I don't know why the links wouldn't work anymore. But all of the old links for the Skinny Bob videos we tried that we'd put in our descriptions, none of them worked anymore. So that suggests to me that
But the videos are back up.
The videos are there. So RegicideAnon is
they
clearly still looking at his YouTube channel with those videos on.
How long ago was that? Like how recent is that?
I mean the last video we did on him was, if it might have been early last year, it could have been the year before. I'm not sure. But
so within a few years here.
Yeah, within recent history. And then that leads me to think, well, so he clearly knows, like the guy that threw those videos up, he hasn't just put a YouTube video out and just forgot about it or gone and done something else or died, because that was my other thought, where, because I don't know if you heard of a thing, it went viral a few years ago. There was a series called Homunculus. Did you ever come about that? So it was what appeared to be like an art house thing. The Homunculus was like old age alchemy, and it was old alchemists trying to fertilize eggs with human sperm, and what that was supposed to create was a homunculus. It was like an like
a chimera.
Yeah, but it was kind of like folklore sort of thing that you could do this.
Okay.
So this series of videos, I'll never forget. My friend Susie sent me the link to the first one, and like I was half drunk at 1 o'clock in the morning, and I stayed up till 3 in the morning to watch the whole series of these YouTube.
You were like, "Homunculus, what's this?" Let me homunculus. Wait, what the fuck, chimera? Oh my god, that's interesting. That's funny.
But the reason I brought it up was not just to talk about like sticking human spunk in chicken eggs.
Isn't that why we're all here?
Isn't that why we're
Deep
all
down
here?
It got to like episode like 16 of Homunculus, whatever it was, 16, 28, something like that. Anyway, it suddenly stops. And I was like, no, I need more Homunculus. I need to find out what's going to happen to the Homunculus. And
wow.
What happened was the guy that was creating these videos had a heart attack and died. So end of the Homunculus story. So
Yeesh.
I always thought so. So there's like a half-finished YouTube channel. So it's still up somewhere for people that want to go and look at it. If I think about it, I'll find it and I'll put it in the descriptions. I probably won't because I don't have a keyboard. But the thought was that if the guy, like if the homunculus guy died, maybe the RegicideAnon guy died, and that's what had happened. He put it up.
Yes.
Maybe he died, and then it became folklore after his death. But if somebody's still going in to check on the YouTube channel, then that means someone has an answer out there to what it is, how it was made, why it was made.
It's probably the same person that still runs the Heaven Gates cult website and sells their merch.
Probably.
Apparently, not everyone caught Hail Bob.
Yeah,
that would have been a good advert, wouldn't it? Good Nike advert. It was like Heaven's Gate and then all these dead bodies. Just do it.
Just do it. just out.
That website's still up, still running. You can still apparently order stuff from it. Allegedly, I don't know if you'll ever get it.
That was in the Alien interview documentary that I just watched for that interview with Jon Stewart, because we talked about the Alien interview from the 90s, right?
Yeah. It's a good guy, John. He's been on a couple of times. I like that guy a lot.
Yeah, we had a great conversation. It was he's an interesting dude. He's a character.
Yes, 100%.
Well said.
And the Skinny Bob was sort of brought up, connected. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So y'all think that was physical hoax with some CGI added? That sounds very plausible, because what if also, like, imagine you make something. Think about this. If you ever shot something, like you make something and then you look at it and you're like, ooh, this needs something else, right? So maybe they shot it and then we're like, it's not good enough. Like, we got to add that, Same thing with the Alien interview that John was talking to me about, right? And he's like, why would they bring in an actor to be a general and just make him dark on the side? Why put these details in? It's like, dude, you don't know what I mean. They could have shot it and then later on been like, oh, we didn't even use that. Think about how many scenes get cut out of movies or this or that or something you're making. You know what I mean? You're gonna change just because what you shot in the day of doesn't mean that's never the final product that gets released, right? So it's totally plausible to have that mix of, and even if they thought of that ahead of time, okay, let's make this practical thing, or someone released footage of a real alien somehow on this random YouTube channel. And I mean,
it is a wild thing to think. It's a wild.
I don't think they're real. I don't, and I'm not saying there aren't videos of aliens. But I don't think they're getting released like that. I'm sorry.
My interest with those is especially the ones where nobody takes credit for them. So yeah, I'm not convinced that it's a real creature that's in those videos.
No,
I don't see. What I will say is I think the videos that weren't fixed for that documentary are better, because you can see the body of the alien in those videos. You can't see the body in the darkened ones where they've color corrected them and all that.
Yeah.
I find those, the original ones that weren't fixed, more compelling is the wrong word, because I still don't think they're real, but I find them more interesting.
Yeah.
Is
he smoking a cigarette?
Why? Yeah, my question's why though. Like the time and effort that's put into doing these things, the time and like the alien interview, Skinny Bob, and nobody comes out to take credit for them. The MH370 videos, like whether they're like fake or not. If they're fake, where's the person now? There's
you don't need to come forward. Like, that's the whole point. You do it and then sit back and, like a troll online, he doesn't want you to know who he really is.
Do you not think somebody want to do that now though, especially with those?
No way. they would be a pariah if they came out. Like if anyone came out and tried to take credit for this hoax, dude, people don't take credit for hoaxes. Like that's the whole point. You prank, you sit back and laugh about it. You're cool with letting it. I don't, if you did take credit, it might be, I guess maybe thinking like a Banksy sort of way, right? Is that what you're thinking? Like, I don't think that's how it would work. Like the alien interview, for instance, I think it's the guy that runs Rocket Pictures who produced the documentary to make money. I mean, it's pretty simple why you would make it and why you wouldn't admit it, right? And then the guys that made the whatever video, they don't want to claim it's a hoax. They prefer that to keep going, and they release more. And because the goal is, can I fool you? That's a magician doesn't want to tell you how the trick is done. But I guess
do you think it still lasts?
He wants to show you the trick.
Because do you think if you like, so the MH370 videos, they didn't get any real traction, when they were first released. It's only been like recently. So if you're at home, this is all gone, for quite some time. And all of a sudden there's people doing this, people arguing on the internet about it. There is clearly like some money being made around like your work, right? I don't think, for instance, I don't think there's a huge amount of money being made out of it. I know there's a lot of people trying to post, or just today actually, people were posting about how much money Ashton was making about through the MH370 thing, and
that's crazy.
Yeah, I don't believe there's enough money to be made there to make it worth the just the loss of time, but that's regardless of the point.
Yeah, totally. And even if he was, who cares if he's making money? But he's putting money into it, and he's providing value to people, and
100%.
Investigating something. I don't know.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Is I said this to somebody online this afternoon, that it's the grifters only ever turn out to be the people that make money, and the reason they're making any money at all is because people care about what they're doing.
Exactly.
So yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
I'm more than happy to be called a grifter by those people if it means that I'm producing content that people care enough about to invest time into. That means I can make money back from it. So I'll take that nonsense to at least be creating good stuff.
Check out our t-shirts, people. Check out our t-shirts.
So, I mean, look at that video at the beginning y'all made. Y'all, I said that last time, dude. Y'all make some great shit, dude. Like, no wonder the TikTok stuff's doing well. If that's the kind of stuff y'all are showing, some of those like, dude, that's great.
Yeah, and do you know what the funny thing was? It was only Dave the other week turned around to us and said, "Why are we putting these on TikTok?" We're like, we hadn't even thought of it.
Hadn't thought of it.
Because it's a lot to. There's just so many avenues to get your show out, right? So I get it.
But see, my thing with this stuff is that I wonder whether like a Project Mockingbird thing, just like we're getting the stuff coming out now from like guy from Salt, the guy of like Lou Elizondo and stuff like that, is the same. If that's not on the level, sorry, I'm fucking trying to start this sentence like 7 different ways. If that's not on the level, are we getting UFO videos, alien video autopsy videos, Skinny Bob videos, all from the same department to perpetuate this idea?
No.
And why?
No, I don't think the government produces those videos. I think you could have people just wanting to make those videos, and mixing it in with real ones. That's what makes Ashton's case so interesting, right? It's all the other evidence he's found besides the videos.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've said that to Ashton, or at least said it to other people. Like the videos are almost the worst part of it. Like it's all the other stuff that Ashton's uncovered that's so fascinating. It's like, I don't know if there's anything there with like Skinny Bob and these other videos. They don't have the same allure, because Skinny Bob isn't based on some connected with some other event, right? Real world event that doesn't make sense. So like, and none of the videos are the alien interview. Now, maybe there is a little bit more backstory to that than I thought originally. After talking with John, but still, I don't think it's coming from the government. I think it's just people trying to jump on to an entertainment wagon, and sort of same way people make like Real Housewives show, like that's all fake, like it's not real reality, you know. And it's kind of just understood this is how you do it. And people post hoax videos all the time on the video, and they do want credit. But then there's just people, I think, online that just, you know.
Maybe it's just the fact that the Skinny Bob one is particularly good. You know, it's just better than some of the other ones. See, like my big one has always been the.
And again, let me caveat: I do think there could be a real one out there. Sure, I just don't think it's been made public yet. Yeah, I just don't think it's in either of those two, Skinny Bob, or no matter what people tell me, like there's just no way. And if that's it, then fuck the aliens. I don't want to talk to them if that's what they really look like and act like that's fuck that shit. That's stupid. They cannot be that. Please tell me that's not what we've been waiting for this whole time.
If any of them are real, I still stand by it's the 90s one that came out of the UK. You know, the 90s alien autopsy video. That thing is
that's a great video.
Yeah, I mean,
it's just a real or not, like that's just a cool video.
I actually got in touch with Ray Santilli, and he was booked to come on the show. And
really,
yeah, and I don't know what happened, but I gave him the link and stuff for the channel. He agreed to come on, and then he just absolutely ghosted me. And I don't know. I like the.
I didn't want to face the questions or talk about it, or I don't know.
He just didn't like us.
I believe that. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say I believe because I don't know, but I think there is a measurable chance that video was real, that they were spoken to, and then they came out as a hoax because
they made him say it's a hoax.
Yeah,
sort of
because
scenario.
I've done quite a lot of digging into this, and the supposed guy that worked for the BBC that supposedly designed the alien was working for the BBC on Doctor Who in like 1989 or whatever it was, the series he was working on. If you look at the models that were used in the BBC, bearing in mind at the time, the BBC was still and British television in general, like all from 80s all the way through the 90s, we didn't have like the streaming service. US television hadn't really penetrated the British market as much as it did now. You know, you got the odd thing like Twin Peaks or something like that, which would come through, but American series hadn't taken off because you didn't have Lost or anything like that.
Okay.
Because that really broke American TV series into the UK.
Interesting.
The fact that the BBC was still like swinging hammer as far as network stuff goes means that like if you were doing like Doctor Who stuff, that was the best we could possibly do at the time, because it's publicly funded. The BBC, they say publicly funded. What they actually mean is they demand money off you every year, or they try and send you to prison for your TV license, which is fucking weird. Essentially they have a limitless supply of fucking public money for these things. And it was awful. Like Doctor Who at that point, there was nothing believable on it. That UFO video, that alien autopsy video, is 1,000,000 times better than any work that guy had ever produced. And I don't believe that's just because he had like the creative handcuffs put on him working for the BBC.
That's possible.
Maybe, but we on this program There was another guy that was involved in that called Dave. His name escapes me. He had
I
a
don't
really,
remember, man. We get through those kinds of shows. I usually try and purge most of that information.
he had a really weird name. Somebody in
That
the
is
chat.
an interesting
Spiros,
point,
no,
though.
Spirios. Yeah. And he was supposedly involved in the faking of this, and he had one picture of what looked like the cast of the dummy, and he released a book about how they faked it. Dave found that book. There was 4 copies of it on Amazon, and he paid $150 for one of the copies. Sorry, was there one copy on Amazon?
I think there was more than one.
Yeah. Anyway, he paid $150 for one of the copies of those books. Books, and the order was cancelled on him. So
it was being fulfilled by whoever the vendor was that was putting it on. It was not Amazon fulfilling it.
I don't believe those books are real. I don't believe that book is real. I think the Spirios character is a strange character indeed. His evidence
character.
Yeah, his evidence for why how he proves it was fake is because he still has one of the Bunsen burners from the video, which he tries to put across as being, oh well, this isn't like a Bunsen burner you can just buy. This is the only one. And I'm thinking, looks like a fucking Bunsen burner, pal. We had those at school.
Yep.
That's funny.
But
wow. Okay.
There's something. There is still something with that, and
that's interesting.
I'm gutted Ray Santelli didn't come on, because I wanted to tell him.
Has he done any other interviews?
No, he done nothing. I found him. I found him through the company he had.
Spirios?
And no, Ray Santilli.
Oh, yeah. I was excited about that until he.
He hasn't done ever an interview admitting to faking this.
Oh no, he's done interviews since. In fact, they did a documentary about how they faked it. But again, this is the interesting part of it. So Spirios wanted to say they got together and faked this video because it was almost like an activist thing about how you shouldn't trust what you see on telly because we filled the world. So that's the premise they put forward. Yeah. So the idea was they were going to do the fake. They were going to put it out. It was going to go like viral, for want of better words, for the time. And then they were going to come out and say, no, we faked it. Look at this. If that was the case, why did they fucking destroy everything? And if you were faking something with the mind's eye that you were going to release another documentary about how you faked it, you would have filmed the faking. There's no B-roll. There's no outtakes. There's no
That's interesting.
There's no film of like. I mean, you're involved in media. You'll know filmmakers and cameramen. If you've got someone that makes films and you give them a camera, all they do is record. Doesn't matter what you're doing. Doesn't matter where you are. Doesn't matter whether you're behind the scenes. If you're sat down having a coffee in between doing things, that guy's got a camera on you talking to you about what you're doing. And they had none of that. No B-roll.
You're right. That
makes no sense.
That doesn't make sense. That is true. I'll give you that. So they're saying the final film is it. There's one other extra frame available.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing.
Like, get the F out of here. You had to cut. I mean,
they destroyed the dummy. They destroyed the dummy.
They destroyed everything that was on set. Everything was gotten rid of. Everything was cleaned. All extra film was destroyed.
They destroyed what they would have needed to prove they faked it if they made the documentary to prove they faked it.
Yes.
I mean, you're not. Wow. Okay. There's more to this story.
I
did not know.
Yeah. It's been
so interesting.
It's been a pet of mine for years because, like,
wow.
Again, that's why we were so excited that he was coming on the channel.
Sorry. Yeah.
Lee just matlocked me with that story.
Story.
Yes, I agree. We just got Columboed.
So
I'm that's fascinating. I definitely want to look into that more. Wow. Is that the most believable? Not believable, but yeah, believable. Is that like the best
I think
alien
it's the
video you've seen?
I think it's the only one that stood the test of time because you can watch
Okay,
that.
yeah,
You
sure.
can watch that now and you go, "Fuck, that looks good."
Yeah.
That looks better than
It does look
any
good,
Hollywood
dude.
production, like as far as time wise goes.
The
Yeah.
more fake stuff that we see come out, when you go back and look at it, it looks even better.
Yeah.
Because you're using modern computers and software, and it still looks like garbage. You go back and look at that thing, and you're like,
Yeah.
I gotta
That's
rethink this.
interesting.
Yeah.
It's been a minute since I watched. I need to watch it again, and it's always in the details for me.
Yeah.
You know.
I think the other interesting thing with that was the fact that in someone's just said there was 2006 the movie came out, but did this movie make it across the pond to you guys? Because have you guys heard of Ant and Dec, the British celebrities like TV personalities?
What's his name? Anson Deck.
Ant and Dec. It's like they're like a duo.
Got it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'd have to see him.
So they starred in a dramatization that was British made about the alien autopsy. So one of them played Ray Santilli, the other one played the Stereos character.
Oh,
in it.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now when I look back on it, I go, what a weird thing to make a film about. Because that film cannot have made money. It can't have made money. Especially if it didn't even get across to you guys. I mean, like if you're doing alien and UFO stuff, America is your target audience. You know, you guys fucking love the UFO conspiracy thing much more than the UK. Like we're still in like 1998 when it comes to the UFO stuff. You know, like it's if anything comes on the news, it's still got the X-Files theme tune behind it. That type of thing.
I mean, they do that here too. Still,
yeah.
I mean,
but yeah,
I lean into it. I don't know why why we're trying to like NHI. You mean aliens? Why are we having to rename all this? It's just confusing. It's like if you have a friend that comes like, dude, start calling me Frank. Frank, what the fuck? Your name's James. Like, why am I going to Frank now? Like, God damn it. Okay, James, aka Frank, aka like we got UFO, aka UAP, aka I don't know. Anyway, sorry, didn't mean to.
Yeah, the UAP one was the worst one.
That's the worst one.
Yeah,
that's just why we rebranding. It's confusing. And then what do people say? They go UAP, UFOs. It's like Twitter and X. It's like anytime someone says X, they mean Twitter. They say Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
It's like no matter what, UFOs gets used somewhere, even if you're trying to say UAP, because you go, well, UAP, I don't know. Just UFOs. We mean, even Lou Elizono's book, The Hunt for the Pentagons for UFO or whatever it is. UFOs.
Yeah. It's weird. It's,
yeah, they'll fight you on the language. That's for sure.
I mean, screw it. We mean aliens and UFOs, and we all know what that means. It's an umbrella term.
Yes.
We know what we're talking about when we say that.
We're talking about the lights in the skies.
Yeah, lights in the sky.
Lights in the sky.
What's going on?
UFO. It's flying. Do you know what it is? No. Then it's unidentified and it's flying. Probably an object, right?
In the water, out of the water, somewhere, something. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. One came and talked to me. Okay, there we go.
Probing.
That's
the probing starts.
Probing. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you guys find it interesting that Steven Spielberg has just come out saying that he has a UFO based movie coming out in 2026? Is it 2 years?
Yeah, you're right. 2026. Yeah, not next year. Yep, 2026.
Yeah, I find it. I find
he's got to write it and pre-production, right, and all of that.
Yeah, but I find it timely with these things because somehow somehow people that make films and involved in media seem to release things on time with real world events. I'm thinking what was the Obama's movie that came out on Netflix?
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Leave
about.
leave the world behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that comes out. We start getting ships crashing into into bridges and whatnot. Even down to the I suppose like with the Civil War movie coming out, I suppose you could probably put that out anytime within the last few years, and people would have maybe put links towards like possibility of a real civil war and that. One that really jumps out to me though, oddly, is Fallout coming out, and they just happened to decide to make a Fallout TV series. Just happened to make probably the most like I don't know if you guys have watched Fallout at all.
The TV
I've seen the trailer.
Yeah. So there's the beginning of that show. No spoilers. There's a nuke goes off. The beginning of that show is an incredibly realistic way. It's even though like there's a lot of comedy and stuff to Fallout. That nuke hitting what looked like California or something like that was incredibly realistic and looked like sometimes when you see something on a Netflix show or an Amazon show and you can see the money dripping out of the screen on certain scenes.
Sure.
That was one of them. And they just happened to have that coincide with probably the highest time since the Cuban Missile Crisis that we're looking at the idea of some sort of like thermonuclear exchange between countries. We're probably the closest now than at any other point apart from the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Then I think we should be very thankful Steven Spielberg isn't making Apophis, the world ender movie about an asteroid that slams into Earth in 2029. So I'll take the alien movie,
Stephen. Yeah, but
we don't know what it's about yet, do we?
Well, yeah.
Don't ruin it for me. Let's stay positive. Stay positive.
It could have been those wingless aliens you talked about earlier.
Oh, let's hope not. They seem like not nice people.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But I find something incredibly timely about Steven Spielberg deciding now to do this, because realistically, if he wanted to jump back into the alien basket, he should have done. Yeah. He should have been planning this in 2017, surely. If he'd have when that article came out, if he'd said gonna write and produce a movie to come out in 2020 that's gonna involve aliens, he'd have probably hit it when it was at its like the boiling point. So someone that's connected as him, what does he know that in 2026 he can drop this and it's gonna be huge?
Maybe he talked to Colonel Karl Nell.
Maybe.
That's interesting.
Know.
Who knows? Maybe it'll be like a personal story.
That'd be good. That'd be something, wouldn't it?
Something. I'm curious what type of, because he's done other one, right? So like what type of story is he going to do?
I bet will
that reflect the timeliness of it, right? Like it's because of that. Will that give us a clue? I mean, we would probably hope for a trailer within what? By the end of 2024, maybe?
By that or early 2025, right?
Or 2025, I'm sorry.
Somewhere
so maybe a year from now or more. I don't know.
Something like that.
Probably. Yeah.
That's interesting. You're right.
I'm thinking he's going to be going down the Close Encounters. Did Spielberg do Escape from Witch Mountain? Was that him as well?
No.
I
don't think so.
Because
like something he would do.
That was remember the one where they had to get to Tabletop Mountain? Was that? No. I can't remember.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
It was a long time ago.
It was in the 80s.
Oh, okay. Then maybe he did. That's possible. That's possible. Then I'm not sure of his entire filmography from that decade all the way, because they made a lot of movies back then.
Yes.
Yeah, who knows, right? Is it going to be current, modern, futuristic?
I would say so. He is brilliant. Like,
Mhm.
if you've done the
Oh,
ET
yeah.
ride at Universal, it's still great.
Yeah.
And he was heavily involved. Like, when you walk through that forest, you're like, this is incredible. Why is not every ride with this? Oh, that's right. You didn't have Steven Spielberg like cracking a whip over the artist and making the tree.
Sure.
You know,
I was gutted the year I went to Universal Studios. They dismantled it the year before.
What? Were they working on it? Because it's still up.
No, it's not.
In
It's
the
gone,
US.
isn't it?
No. In the US, it is up. It's the oldest running attraction.
In Florida.
Oh wow.
Yep.
I
They
thought
must have been working on it then. Nah, because we did it when we went there. Yeah.
Motherfucker. But that means that'd be both times then, because both times I haven't been able to go on it.
Wow.
Mm.
I mean, it's not great, right? It's
No.
not great. You're moving at half the speed of smell. But with the miniatures and everything that's going on, the robot voice that calls your name at the end, you can't really hear it anymore.
I think I
And they're
remember
still
that.
using the old card technology, but it's
Yeah.
good. But yeah, it would be interesting that Steven Spielberg, he would definitely have access to people like Lou Elizondo, Karl Nell, all these people. He has access to them.
Well, he
100%
had,
someone like that.
Alan
No,
Hynek.
but is he talking to him? Does he
Maybe he
care?
is.
Does he? I don't know.
Maybe he's
I don't
not.
know.
I don't
But
know. We'll find
didn't
out.
he have Alan Hynek? It was Alan Hynek was the Project Blue Book guy, wasn't he?
Yes.
Yeah. He was the he had him on board as like executive producer or something for Close Encounters of the Third Kind. He actually makes a cameo at the end of the film, doesn't he?
It's an incredible.
I mean,
movie.
and he does include, Jacques Vallée's character, right? Someone based on him coming in. Yeah, I guess it's possible, for sure. That's interesting. Will that shape his story and right what he's going to tell?
It's more interesting how it will shape public narrative as well.
Sure. It just depends what kind of story, right? If it's like War of the Worlds, no one was like, oh yeah. But something like Close Encounters, people talk about that story a lot more.
Yeah.
Right. And that connection. E.T., nobody's like, oh, right. It's a fantasy. So yeah, what route? Is it the E.T. friendly family alien movie? Or something more like Close Encounters, but maybe even like a more government edge to it, political. I don't know. I mean, I'm fascinated. Will it be in space? Will it be on Earth? What will it include? Yeah.
This is off topic, but did you guys see the one with Mila Jovovich in Alaska? That was Close Encounters of the Fourth Kind? Or was it just the Fourth Kind?
The Fourth Kind.
I think it was just the Fourth Kind. Yeah. With the owls.
With the owls, yeah. But the aliens were possessing people's bodies in some kind of weird spirit form that had to be exorcised, breaking them out. And, that's pretty dark.
That's one of my favorites. That's one of my favorites of UFO.
That's a crazy story.
Yeah.
And she's in it, so that it instantly gets
even better.
Extra points.
Yeah.
Yeah, extra points.
Watch points. Yeah.
Before sorry, I was just say before we get going, what's the are you excited for Lou Elizondo's book?
I am.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I'm excited.
Why not?
Yeah.
I would be excited for any of these people to, release a book, but especially him, right? He's been kind of quiet for a minute. He's clearly someone at the top of this small circle of people that people talk about and want to hear from, regardless if you agree with them or don't agree. When he talks, people listen.
I believe
I will be interested to the stories.
Yeah, I believe him and Mellon are essentially leading the information behind this whole movement. I think they're in charge.
Yep.
I just don't see Lou being like this evil guy that wants to like deceive the American people and make a bunch of money and like I just don't.
I think there's. I don't think he's doing it. I don't think he's doing it for money. I think. I don't think he's a poor man, and I'm sure his book will do very well. I don't.
Yeah.
But the problem is people that are inside the UFO community don't understand. It's a small niche. It's a small thing.
Exactly.
And the amount of people that will actually buy his book is even smaller than that. Like most people don't know who Lou Elizondo is. So it's it's not like he's not dropping a book and it's like Jordan Peterson bringing a new book out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah.
I agree with you about not believing he's an evil person. I do think there is a high possibility, if not probability, that he's doing his job.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'd love to talk to him.
Yeah,
Sure.
I'd love to speak to him.
At the end of the day, there's no way to know. And I think he would also have to understand how people could think that.
Exactly.
Right? Like, well, he would have to be like, well, I could get why people would think that about me. I'm not that, but I get why people would. He would have to come to that conclusion.
Are you going to try and
Right.
get him unvetted for the when he does like?
Sure.
any
We're
publicity?
blocked. I mean, we're blocked on Twitter. So he clearly went out of his way to sort of distance himself from us.
That's
for
interesting.
nothing,
I wonder why.
So I don't. I've heard some stuff, but whatever. I don't know if I believe it.
It's
But
weird getting blocked though. I got blocked yesterday.
that doesn't mean you won't get an interview. To be
by
honest,
ex-WWE wrestler Ryback blocked me for what appears to be no apparent reason.
dude, I was gonna have John Stewart on right the other day. I just had the live stream. Just had him on, right?
Yeah.
And John and I are emailing like 15 minutes before the show, right? Like, okay, here's or maybe earlier in the day, but the day of the interview, and I was like, hey, I want to tag you on Twitter, but he sends me a link on Twitter. And I was like, hey, John, you have us blocked, so I couldn't tag you in the post that I made, and I can't see your post. And he writes back, no, you have us blocked. And then he writes back again, oh, no, sorry, you're right. I have you blocked. You're unblocked now. And I was like, okay. So, but, hours before our interview, we unblocked, got all that fixed or whatever on Twitter. So, again, even if we're blocked with Lou Elizondo, doesn't mean we couldn't get an interview and speak to him. And because Twitter's one thing. Twitter isn't life to me, if that makes sense. So, like, I just don't care.
I think the thing is as well, and I hate using the word toxic for things like this because generally when someone says, oh, this environment's toxic, they're probably being pricks. But the UFO community especially seems to have become such a strange, spiteful place. I don't blame any of these people like Lou, Greer, any of the people that are actually out there, regardless of what you think of what they're doing work. Why leave yourself open to that? Because there's people there that'll send 100 messages a day to you. Like, well, I can understand why. If you get one comment from someone which is like off, you just go, oh, no, not another one. I'm going to get rid of this nutcase before it starts. So I can get how people get caught in the crossfire of that.
100%. Absolutely. For sure.
And with that, boys, we've been going for almost an hour and 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick, appreciate your time and your words. It's always fun, man. It was every bit as fun as it was last time.
No, absolutely. Thank you, guys. And thank you to everyone watching. Any veterans out there, thank you guys for sticking it out with us here on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. What have you got coming up on the channel?
Same old daily videos every day, 12 p.m. Central Standard Time. I do not miss a day. I'll be there tomorrow.
It's a good time. It's good time for me because I got rid of live television into my house during the pandemic. So I essentially only have like YouTube and Netflix.
That's what I watch.
So morning coffee, usually for me, morning coffee, get my son sorted out with his cereal, and I'll watch your video with my morning coffee.
I love it, man. I need some vetted coffee. That's what I'm.
Yes, you do.
Right, a little something, a little V.
You either need vetted coffee or a MeUndies contract. I think that's how content creators live, isn't it?
I'm going to bring them together and I'm going to advertise them both at the same time.
Coffee scented underwear.
I'm telling you, or the other way around. Whatever. I don't know. I'm just saying.
There's definitely
people like strong coffee. I'm just saying.
Yeah. There's a market for both.
There's a market for both, and everything in between. Right. Absolutely. Yeah.
Patrick.
Hilarious.
Cheers,
Thank
buddy.
you guys. You guys
Good
are
night,
awesome.
everyone. Thanks a lot.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, guys.
So let's take a look at the data. So we can look at some folks that have very high level access to information, like Paul Hellyer.
There have been face-to-face meetings between United States officials and visitors from other star systems, period.
Lou Elizondo has said the same thing.
This is going to impact every single one of us.
David Grush has said the same thing. David Grush cleared for presidentially level material.
As I've stated publicly already in my News Nation interview, biologics came to some of these recoveries. Yeah.
Were they, I guess, human or non-human biologics?
Non-human, and that was the assessment of people with direct knowledge on the program I talked to that are currently still on the program.
Do you believe that a higher form of non-human intelligence has visited this planet?
Right. So non-human intelligence exists. Non-human intelligence has been interacting with humanity. This interaction is not new, and it's been ongoing. And there are unelected people in the government that are aware of that.
And so, Karl, that is quite a bold statement. I'm wondering, and I'm curious, how confident are you that that is true?
There's zero doubt.
Underwear scented coffee would be huge in Japan.
It would be, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they got the vending machines. Like different. I'm surprised porn stars haven't done that, like their own flavors.
Well,
Jameson smell coffee.
Don't forget who is Chris Martin married to? She was in Iron Man. She was like Iron Man's girlfriend.
Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah, she released Fanny scented candles. Fanny being like the front entrance.
Vagina. It's called a vagina.
Yeah, not the back entrance like it would be in the
The
US.
pooper.
Yeah, not those. The front candle. Not
Really, either one of them would probably sell. They both have their own markets.
I'd get the